13. Pages. And I think
I move
Second.
recommendation.
it's
Second.
moved Councillor Cooper, seconded Councillor Philip Piner. The information is before you members in two parts. Megan, I think it's reasonable that you do introduce it, and your team as well. And if you could...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll be really brief.
Key points.
Sure. Just introduce Yi Lin on my right and Jasmine on my left. We've put together this submission in conjunction with our CCO colleagues, particularly in Regional Facilities Auckland and Auckland Transport. And we worked with the Working Party as well. Thank you for your time on that. So this is a submission on the review of the Unit Titles Act. It's a discussion document the government has put out, which will lead in time, one presumes, to some legislation change. So that would again be another opportunity for Council to make a submission on any bill that comes through. So there are 7 key proposals in the discussion document. I've outlined that in the executive summary of the cover report, and the submission is attached, the draft submission is attached in your addendum agenda, and we're looking for any comments or changes needed today. We will make those and lodge those by the end of the week as required, and we've asked that the Chair be able to just make those minor amendments as needed. So happy to answer questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any questions on this, members? There being none, it is moved and seconded. Like I thank Megan for your work on this, Councillor Hills for working with me on this. Good work. The Honourable Nikki Kay has been doing a lot of work on this. Hopefully it does lead to legislative change, because this is a critical body of work that affects Auckland probably more than anywhere else in the country, not forgetting Wellington and Christchurch and others. But as I view it, there are inherent in this, without this work, there continue to be barriers to people purchasing particularly apartments and other unit titles in Auckland, and it does need resolving. So thank you, Megan, and your colleagues and the others that have been inputting on this work. No questions. Excellent work. Moved and seconded. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Declare that carried. Go to 15 on the GPS, the government...
14.
Sorry, 14. 14 on the government policy statement. And I'll move. Do I have a second? Yep. Thank you, Councillor Clough. And we'll just wait for the staff to come up. Welcome, team, and apologies. What's the name?
Quinton.
Yeah, Quinton. Yeah, Quinton, you're caught.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. We have received recently the draft government policy statement from the Ministry of Transport. This was released in late February, and we are seeking to prepare a submission on that draft government policy statement on land transport, or GPS as we call it. There has been an email out to, for a political reference group to be established, which we'd like to be established to help us prepare that submission quickly. The submission is due at the end of this month, on the 31st, and in order to do that we need to move with quite a bit of haste, and we're looking forward to having that submission before the next planning committee for approval. The government policy statement on transport is a very important strategic document. It sets out activity classes for funding for transport and the government's policy position, and so it's important we do a good job on this submission. So that's what we're seeking to do today, is to establish that political reference group, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Quinton, and Phil, you're there and as an able assist if we need you. Members, I think the information is before us. We're not delving into the pros and cons of the GPS at this time. That will be undertaken by the reference group, and we have some names there, myself, Councillor Hills, Councillor Newman again.
Well done.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. He's got
my hand up
incredible
here.
thirst there. Chairs Pippa Coombe and Shane Henderson, David Holm from Puketapapa, and Greg Presland. Looks like a good mix. Daniel, are you reneging?
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Are you recusing?
Yes, I am actually. Look, I, Mr Chair, this is critically important for the Auckland plan actually, the GPS on land transport. And this is critically important for negotiations, I think, around the ATAP work moving forward. Now, I mean, I'm happy to contribute to this, although I have to look at my diary. It's just getting out of hand here. But I really think that
Stretched, okay.
someone like the Deputy Mayor ought to be part of this conversation,
He's
given
also
some of the debates that are going to be had around this, and I'm happy to, for him to substitute for me.
Well, actually, there's one small oversight there. Look, I know you're undertaking a lot at the moment, Councillor, and we appreciate that. I have omitted, and my apology, an IMSB representative, and I need.
We weren't going to raise it.
Happy to put my hand up. I'm happy to put my hand up.
Not now.
Happy to put my hand up.
So, look, I would like to make sure that we have a representative of the IMSB there, and are the IMSB in a position to confirm that nomination? It would go before your next meeting.
It would have to go before the next meeting, and I think put a placeholder there, and we'll determine whether we need to have somebody on board or not.
Okay, we will put a placeholder there for an IMSB member. Can we adjust that? So we've got a pretty full house, but I hear Councillor Walker's interested in.
Yeah, I'm happy to put my hand up, and that might
I think Linda had her name.
might assist Daniel if you
Linda,
want
didn't you
to.
I'm
want
no
to
longer
run?
worried.
So can we just be clear on whether you're in or out? I don't want.
So I wasn't clear whether Councillor Newman's name's been taken off. Is he in there or not?
I'm out.
Councillor
I'm
Newman
happy
is.
to replace him.
Okay, now I've got Councillor Cooper and Councillor Walker expressing interest. So I'm happy to add the names, Councillor Cooper and Councillor Walker.
Thank you.
But no,
Deputy Mayor?
no deputy mayor.
Deputy Mayor's got his
Could
work
be
cut
there.
out.
Diary's just nuts, I'm sorry.
Right.
No, we've got a good
Had a good team there.
Good team there. It's moved and seconded. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary, no. Declare it carried. Quentin, Phil, thank you. Going now to another government initiative, and a good one, I think. And again, we need to establish a political reference group. Christina, would you like to briefly take us through this?
Councillor Holt.
We've got quite a lengthy document to follow, but I'm sure that will be, well, part of your work here, but on the policies, on the outline of the urban development authorities as proposed by the Minister. But we will leave the deep dive for the reference group. Christina?
Correct. Tēnā koutou, through the chair. The purpose of this is to let you know about the Urban Development Authority's discussion document, which was recently released by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. That was a couple of weeks ago now, and the intention of the proposed legislation is to enable better urban development at scale and where projects are strategically important. This also follows on from some of the recommendations that came out of the Productivity Commission's Using Land for Housing work. So what I'm seeking today is for agreement for there to be a submission from council, and that would be across council family. So we've already had discussions with Auckland Transport, Watercare, and Panuku, and they are in agreement that it needs to be a council family submission. That we will establish, or you will, establish a political reference group to provide direction to staff in developing the submission, and that partly given the time frames around the Easter holidays, that there be consideration of an iteration of the submission at the second May committee meeting. And then finally, to delegate authority to the chair and deputy chair of the committee to finalize the submission. So final deadline for the submission is the 19th of May to MB.
Thank you, Christina. Councillor Cooper?
I would like to nominate Councillor Hulse as Chairman of Environment and Communities, because these urban development authorities really affect our facilities, everything that we do, along with the planning. So if she would accept that, I think it would be really important.
Okay, we've got Councillor Hulse's name there. Councillor Hulse's accepting. Any other councillors that would like to participate in this? We're going to look at 3 local board members as well, and local boards can
I'm on a time.
sort that representation out, and 1 independent Māori statutory board member. Is there another councillor that would like to participate? There are some key issues here, members, like
Big piece of
using
work.
the Public Works Act,
Yeah.
like overriding existing and proposed district plans. So there are some meaty issues here for us to
No, you can
address.
go, Chris. No, there's more urban land in North Shore. In lieu of representation, I will
Do I
put
hear
my
another
name
name?
forward.
Councillor
Please.
Good
Philippina?
on you, Alf. Excellent. Need someone from the second.
I think I heard Councillor Philippina. It's
Yeah,
on the screen.
thank you.
Thank you. I'll move. Do I have a second? Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Councillor Collins. Very willing to second Councillor Philippina's nomination.
Absolutely.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favour say aye. Contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you. 16. And that's the Ford work program. Just a slight amendment on the recommendation there, members. Just get my pages. And that is with prioritisation to be confirmed at the next business meeting. So it's not a prioritised list at this time. Councillor Cooper?
So is this what you and the deputy have developed over this time?
This is the staff, political input, and we're yet to prioritise that program.
Thank you.
I will move it. Seconded, Deputy Chair, Councillor Denise Lee. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Declare that carried. We've got the information reports on 291 of your agenda. Again, I'll move,
I'll second.
reasonably procedural. Members, all of this information that we might be considering at workshops is totally transparent. It's available for our communities to read. Of course, we don't print it off. We'd be printing several volumes of War and Peace. Thickness, thickness. Not the content. And it's all available on the website if anybody makes an inquiry for them to read. Councillor Cashmore?
Yes, thank you. You're talking about item 17 now?
We are on 17.
Yeah. So I have some questions about the staff's input into the proposed Waikato regional plan change and the lack of consistency with what we've suggested Waikato should do compared to what we've recommended in our own unitary plan.
Okay, now, the item notes that we don't have staff present to fetch questions.
I'm just making that point, and I
can
will
I-
dig into it a bit more further.
We'll follow it up.
Saw it myself and we're following that one up.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Will hunt me down.
It's moved and seconded. Councillor Cooper seconded it, and that's item 17. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Carried. There are no extraordinary items under 18, and so that completes our, just check, our open order paper business. So I'll, yes, I'll move it now. So I'll move the procedural motion as on the
Second.
screen, members, seconded Councillor Philippina, to exclude the public for the reasons outlined. And following this motion, we will adjourn for lunch and come back in public excluded session immediately after lunch. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Declare that carried. Thank you. Thank you for those staff that have been here today, members of the public that have been here to observe, and media, and we will reconvene at 1 p.m. to consider the confidential agenda, members. Thank you.